coolest, most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000 or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers. taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Friday morning to you all of you wonderful liberty lovers and you fellow ecclesiastites. It is great to be here this Friday morning, Friday, February the 7th, or February the 12th, in the year of our Lord 2012, as we get our weekend on. You know what I'm saying? It's Freedom Friday. Freedom Friday means, one else, that you and we get to try to enjoy our freedom over the weekend, what freedom we have left. Still, we're enjoying it here in the wonderful granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust, and absolutely we are going to keep it that way. We are not going to allow anybody to change it. We're going to enjoy our freedom as much as, the Constitution is still the law of the land, folks. It really is. The number to call in this morning is 603-835-3224 as we continue with our celebration of Freedom Friday. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Today we are expecting a wonderful guest, Dr. Alveda King. And for those of you who don't know who she is the one and only niece of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, that MLK Jr. We'll get a chance to speak to her hopefully a little bit in just a few minutes, actually. In the meantime, last night, I watch a lot of, when I watch TV, I watch a lot of, business related programs like Shark Tank, The Prophet with Marcus Lemonis. God bless that guy. There's a guy that works on the old-fashioned way, on a handshake. But, last night I caught a few episodes. Well, I caught last week's episode of Shark Tank, which celebrated military vets who were trying to start or grow businesses. It was a good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But afterwards, I caught up on a couple of episodes that I've missed on The Prophet with Marcus Lemonis. And I think that's a CNBC program. And what this guy has done, he's the ultimate, he's a one-man Shark Tank, as it were. versus now. I don't know how much Marcus Lemonis is worth, but obviously he's got money to he's an angel investor basically. You could call him a venture capitalist if you want, but he's going around trying to help failing and struggling small businesses around the country. And one of the things I noticed last night in the episodes that I watched, there was a couple of them. There was one was about a girl, not a girl, but a woman, 20-something. At least she definitely acted like a 20-something, out in San Francisco that started a flower shop. Not a flower shop, but a flower delivery service. She tried to put a unique spin on it. All the flowers were grown here in the United States and such instead of being imported from South America or Holland or something like that, which is, a nice little thing. But she had nearly $3 million in sales last year, but she was $80,000 in debt. And she believed her company was worth $20 million. But I gotta tell you, she acted as if, like most millennials. And she acted as if that she was entitled to have a $20 million company. Simply because she was a woman, and she believed that she didn't get loans and stuff and venture capitalists to invest in her company strictly because she was a woman. And she kept telling Marcus that, and Marcus kept telling her, you know what, I don't care if you're a woman or a man, I just look at the business. And he was willing to invest $1 million. And she was, before he could even get his offer out, she was giving him all kinds of conditions. Now, understand, in order to get on Marcus Lemonis's program, The Prophet, you have to call him, and you have to convince him why he needs to come out and take a look at your business because you need him. So, in other words, she had to apply and convince him to come out to San Francisco. So he goes out there, checks it all out, says, "Well, there's something that could be good here. This could be eventually it could be a $20, $30, $50 million company. Eventually." He says, "Okay, I'll." But before he could get to how much he's willing to invest in her, she's giving him conditions. Well, I'm not going to do this, and you can't do that. And he's like, wait a minute. Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to give you $1 million for 25% of your company. And she's like, no. I figured it'd be $1 million for 5%. And Marcus is like, why do you think that your company is worth $20 million? Now, if she had gone on the real Shark Tank, let me tell you, all 7 of those sharks, regular sharks, including the 2 females, would have eviscerated her on her valuation. She had made nearly $3 million and still lost $80,000. There was the company actually was worth nothing except its assets. Whatever its assets were valued at is what the company was actually worth. But she had this mentality, this 20-something millennial mentality, that she was owed that. 1, because she was female, and 2, because she just thought her company was worth $20 million. And there was another one that I had watched. It had to do with Mr. Green Tea ice cream and yogurt out of New York City. And the young millennial son, just the epitome of a millennial. Now, don't get me wrong, smart kid, but very inexperienced, very immature. He kept using the terms, well, that's not fair. And just when he was interacting and arguing, business-wise, I guess you could say, with his parents and with Marcus, his stature, his stance, his mannerisms, everything reverted to a 12-year-old. He looked like a spoiled little brat. But no, I don't know his father, but the program was on about 2 years ago when we first 2 years ago when we first saw Marcus getting in there and trying to invest in Mr. Green Tea ice cream. And he seemed a lot more mature back then. We didn't see much of him because most of the show was about the interaction with his dad, who actually owns the company, versus Michael, the son. And from what I got from his dad, there's no way in hell his dad spoiled his son that way. but he acted like a spoiled, entitled little brat. I'm thinking to myself, what are we growing here in the United States of America? We're in trouble. This generation, if you look around and you see them, the millennials, they all have, there's this huge mentality bubble with them that they have this grandiose idea of what their value is. No experience whatsoever, but they have this grandiose value of what they are. And this is directly related to all of that wonderful liberal teaching that you're special and everybody gets a participation trophy and everybody's worth all of this kind of money. Let me tell you, that is not the case. And I think what we got here is we're reaping what we sow. Going to see now if we can get Dr. King here on the line. Love the sound of a phone ringing, don't you? Well, while we wait for Dr. King, let us see what we got on tap for today. Got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about, and we will get to that as soon as we possibly can.
Hello, thank you for calling. Please leave a message and have a blessed day.
Oh, it looks like we got her answering machine, so we'll try her back a little bit later. I know she's a very busy woman. That happens. Oh, when you call this show, when you dial 603-835-3224, sometimes you get a busy number. Callers get a busy number. Maybe it's karma. There was a episode of what was it? What business show was it? I can't. It's off the top of my head. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a 20-something female, just to say it. In any case, 20-something female who tried to start a business basing it on karma. And I don't know if that means anything. If you are trying to say that karma is coming back to bite you, but you don't have any karma, you don't put any karma out there, because you're not old enough to have any karma. Maybe the karma is coming back to bite you from when you were like 10. Could be. Let's see if we can get her now. Let's see, that didn't work. Let's see if we can, hold on here. Let's get the right number in there. Okay, let's try this one again. Let's see if we can get this back on. One more shot here.
Oh, just a moment. This is Alveda King.
Good morning,
Hello.
Good morning, Dr. King. This is Rod Eccles. How are you?
Okay, Rod. I'm sorry I missed your call. I'm in an airport.
Oh, that's
So,
okay. You're flying off somewhere. Well, thank you for taking the time to be here on the show again this morning. It was a pleasure talking to you last time. Glad I get to talk to you again.
Great talking to you as well. Okay, we may need to talk about 10 minutes instead of 15. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We'll get right into it. Right now you're busy traveling all over the place, and it's a lot. Probably has a lot to do with. Well, now we're in Black History Month for one, but it has a lot to do with the election. Now, I noticed a lot of African Americans, it seems to be abandoning the Democrat Party. Do you think that that's the right direction for the community to go? I mean, they only have Sanders and Clinton to look up to right now.
Well, I believe that America is moving a little bit beyond political correctness and political party allegiance and really seeking answers. This is not a game. So I think African Americans would be included, especially since we're talking about this in Black History Month. My uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said that we really just need to pray and seek God in days and times like this. He was not a Democrat or a Republican. He was an independent. I think Dr. Billy Graham is an independent. His son, Franklin Graham, is an independent. I have been an independent. I remain in the Republican Party pretty much because some of my colleagues and friends have asked me not to give up the ship, you know. But I know that we have to look to God, not a political party. And I believe that the African American community is definitely coming online with that understanding.
Yeah. Now, speaking of your uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King, we know that obviously he was an absolutely wonderful and he was a great man, definitely a man of God and sent directly by God. But we see a lot of people kind of twist what he was about today. I mean, even from we have Hillary Clinton saying that she's always been on for the side of blacks, but their record doesn't prove that out. Now we're learning kind of the same thing with Bernie Sanders, but he sat with Reverend Al Sharpton a couple of days ago for breakfast. What do you think they were talking about?
Well, I kind of noticed that, and Reverend Sharpton is kind of a political, politically correct person. I guess that's the best way I can say that. So I'm sure they were talking about politics from a human perspective. I was in South Carolina last night with the Reconciled Church movement, and there was a Carolina summit where all the candidates, the Republicans and the Democrats, had been invited to speak. We did have Dr. Ben Carson there, Senator Ted Cruz, Senator Santorum was there speaking on behalf of Senator Rubio. But I noticed, and since it was Black History Month, Dr. Carson took a few minutes to give us a Black history lesson about all the African-American inventors, and he held up quite well. What was interesting to me, it's almost like at the time when Christ was crucified, and the governor and king said, "Who do you want? We'll save one person." And they said, "Give us Barabbas." And so what I'm seeing people say is we just need somebody who can win. We don't even necessarily want the best person. We want to back a winner. And I'm hearing a lot of that. But I think there's not enough of 2 Chronicles 7:14 saying that, if my people, God speaking to us, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, then I'll hear from heaven and forgive their sins and heal their land. So we're not having enough ask God what to do, but more, it's almost like it's a game instead of dealing with the real serious issues of the nation. Which team are you going to back? Super Bowl just passed, and everybody, which team are you rooting for? Well, which candidate are you rooting for? Well, I'm going to vote for so-and-so because he or she can win. That mentality is so outdated, and I'm hoping we can get that message out to people and ask people to take a look at rather who can win, not who can win. It's God who can win. Jesus Christ has already won. And so when we say who can win, let's say, God, what do you want us to do? Because we know you already won.
That is a fantastic message. Now, you did mention the Super Bowl, and we know that people are still talking about the Beyonce performance and her Black Power, Black Panther performance. What do you think that is from? What do you think that really?
Still stirring up human emotions, Black Lives Matter, and all of that. And of course, John 3:16 teaches us that Black lives do matter. All lives matter. We're one human race. Acts 17:26 says, of one blood, God made all of us. And so when you have people rehearsing the injuries rather than looking to God for the deliverance, then you'll have that. I was really happy, though, that Beyonce honestly had on more clothes than she wears occasionally. And I was like, great to see. And she had on leggings. That was not her bare legs. And she had everything else covered up. And I was so glad to see that. I didn't know what to do. So I know about the pain of a nation, but I know about the promise of God for our nation. And that's really what, as an evangelist, that's what I want people to hear.
Oh, that's good. You saw a little bit of positivity out of Beyonce because she was covered up. Yeah, modesty, that's always a good thing. I know you got to run, but one last question for you. Could you relate, from your own personal memory, one of your favorite moments with your father and uncle?
give me a minute to say last night at the Reconciled Church event with the candidates, the King Family Legacy Foundation received an award, and you can go to kingfamilylegacy.com. I think, and there are a few pictures of our family there, the King Family Legacy pictures and the family tree. So the memories I have of my dad and my uncle, my Aunt Christine, that's their generation, Daddy King and Mama King, their parents, is the family oneness and together and love that we all experienced. And in the midst of the trials, the bombs, and the shootings, we always felt that God was with us and that the measure of love that we had made us feel safe and secure in the midst of these horrible trials.
Nice. That is so wonderful. Wonderful. I do remember my grandfather, Reverend Ellis Browning, also talking about strong family bonds. How can people reach you and get in touch with you, Dr. King?
Well, you can get me at Priest for Life, FOR, priestforlife.org/African American. priestforlife.org/African American.com, or AfricanAmericanOutreach.com, or AlvidaKingMinistries.com, and you can hear more about my evangelistic ministry there.
Do you have more music coming out? Yeah, I remember last spring you sent me a wonderful song, and I was wondering if you guys had more of that stuff coming out.
Well, we do have some more. Some of the music should be in the videos, either at the Priest for Life YouTube channel or Alvida King Ministries channel. And I will have some more music videos on AfricanAmericanOutreach.com and AlvidaKingMinistries.com. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. King. I know you got to run. Safe flights, and I hope to speak to you again
Thank
soon.
you. You have the airport. There's the airport in the background. I'm sorry. So thank you, and God bless you.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dr. Alvida King, ladies and gentlemen, the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You heard her call her, Big Daddy and Big Mama King, meaning Martin Luther King Sr. and his wife. That's how people call people in their families, Big Daddy, Big Mama. I remember my mother's grandmother, my great-grandmother, on my grandmother's side, they called her Big Mama. That was her nickname. So that's something else that's part of, I guess, African American. Well, I guess maybe. And I know a lot of African American families. The grandparents or great grandparents have the Big Daddy or Big Mama moniker nickname. And no, she wasn't a huge woman. That's not why they call, it's not why they call certain people Big Daddy or Big Mama in the African American community. It has more to do with age and respect, believe it or not. And she was not a huge woman. And my mother was named after her, by the way. And I never met my great-grand. She died when my mother was only about 12 years old. But she was part Native American. Now, along with my great-grandfather on that side, he was half Cherokee. And I always thought that Big Mama was also Cherokee, but we found out that she was another kind of Southern Native American. And I am such a mutt. It's redonkulous. So I can't. The interesting part about it is, I always joke about this, is I am part Cherokee on both sides of my family, both my mother and my father's side. And I can prove it. Unlike some people who say that, they're Cherokee and they just go around saying, well, I'm like 1/32nd because my grandmother said, and I have the cheekbones of a Cherokee. They give me a break, and then go and lie about it and get jobs and promotions about it. And then we hear, I'm not trying to get racist here, but have you ever noticed that the people that really try to be so inclusive and to try to prove that they're inclusive and not racist is liberal whites, because they run around saying, well, I'm part this and I'm part that, and they can't prove any of it. And you ask them, where do they get this information? And their third cousin 3 times removed can remember that their great uncle said, oh yeah, we got this person in our family. And somehow it akins to them being, as much as half or 1/8. There is a TV show that did something like that. Happy Endings. If you've ever heard of it, it's called Happy Endings, and I just sort of caught it on Hulu. And one of the characters found out that there was Native American Cherokee in his history, and he found out, well, I'm 1/16th Native American. I'm 1/16th Cherokee, and he started going off on this whole Cherokee thing, that he was this huge Cherokee person, and I had to laugh because it was said in as far as comedy was concerned, but stuff like that, when it gets into reality, it's not funny at all. It's actually degrading and racist.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, whew, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zero 835-3224 is the number to call should you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show on this Freedom Friday edition. As we do every Friday, we try to keep the topics a little bit lighter as we get ready to celebrate our weekend here on Fridays. We got a call here. Let's see if we can get them on.
most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Information from Twitter from Laura. So that's just this morning. I called immediately, and thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you for calling. Bye-bye. Well, Twitter works, folks. I've always known Twitter works. John McCain trailing by as much, 12 to 20 points down there, she says, in Arizona. I knew he was in trouble, which raised the question of why would he decide to possibly retire now, because usually these types of politicians, they only retire when they go up for re-election and realize that they can't win. So in order to save themselves exit embarrassment, they decide to retire gracefully. That's usually the case. Sometimes they'll go down ugly. But usually those types of career politicians, their egos won't allow them to be dispatched so ceremoniously like that. And I think McCain is one of those types of career politicians whose ego could be extremely bruised if he were to actually lose in such a tremendous fashion like that. So if it's a close race, if he loses by less than 5 points, if he loses 2 or 3 points, he can accept that. He can accept it and move on. But if he's getting trounced and doesn't even have a chance to get past the primary at all, yeah, you probably will see him gracefully, I put that in quotation marks, by the way, bow out. And that's, frankly, look around you. That's the way they all operate. And this is why we don't need career politicians. This is why they all need to go. They need to go back home, get themselves jobs in the private sector. You know what? I think more than having term limits. Now hang with me here, because I've come around to believing that term limits are probably a good idea for our national leaders. Because if it's good enough for the president, and if it's good enough for about half of our nation's governors, it's good enough for Congress in Washington, D.C. New York City has term limits, although Bloomberg decided that he was going to ignore that somehow and ask for a special dispensation so he could run for a third term. And they gave it to him. Can you believe that crap? Look, you got laws for a reason. Liberals always want to bend the rules. Liberals always tell you that you have to follow the laws and the rules, but they don't. You get term limits. New York, well, hey, remember when the rumor was that Ronald Reagan asked for the term limits for the presidency to be lifted? Who went absolutely ape-bat crazy? The left. The left went nutso. And I don't, you know what? I don't even know if that's an actual fact. I don't know if that's rumor or if that's one of those, twisted historical facts. People should probably look at it. Everybody just accepts it as it being fact. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. It's the same thing that people are saying that, Obama's asking for Congress to change the Constitution, allow him to serve more. That's hearsay or rumor. I don't know if that's factual either. I wouldn't doubt it if it were true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it were true. But at this particular juncture, I don't know if it is or isn't. But they always go nuts when there's a hint of a Republican asking for a term limit release. But all of a sudden, when you get somebody who's liberal, hey, maybe it's not a bad idea if we had, Bloomberg as mayor for another term or longer. And you hear liberals running around, yeah, Obama could be president for life. That would be good. That would be so good. Obama president for life. Whatever happened to the term limits? You didn't want you wanted Bush to be term limited out. You were so happy when he couldn't run again after he won a second time and he couldn't run again. You're like, oh yeah, we just got to hang on for 4 years. 4 years we can hang on because he can't run again. Hallelujah. And now we get Obama in there, and it's like, well, maybe Obama could be president for life if we could just get rid of these term limits. So you go nuts whenever a conservative or a Republican even hints at lifting term limits. But you liberals will try everything to obfuscate the law to extend your stay. That's just not right. It's not right. Sorry, it's not. And there's a lot of other hypocritical stuff out there. And it's kind of interesting and funny because the some blacks, African Americans, on both sides of the political aisle are starting to take the left to task. It's good. Because they're starting to look around and say, look, we've got Baltimore, we've got Cleveland, we've got Ferguson, we've got Detroit, we've got Chicago, all run by Democrats, and people feel that they're worse off today than they were before Barack Obama took office. I'm going to get my Obama phone, and Obama's going to pay my mortgage, he's going to pay for my gas. If I take care of him, he's going to take care of me. You know how that goes. And now they realize Obama didn't take care of SHBU what T. And for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real Linda, that's not how you actually spell the word I wanted to say. But you got the message. But here's a story. This is stuff, you go overseas to find these kind of stories because you don't get them even in more conservative mainstream media here. It's hard to find this stuff, so you go overseas to find this stuff. dailymail.co.uk. Black intellectuals desert Hillary as there's a book called New Jim Crow. As the new Jim Crow author says, she is to blame for mass incarceration, and this leading author backs Bernie. Now, there's been a backlash since the Black Congressional Caucus, or the Caucus of Black Congressional, whatever, that debaucherous group of African American, Democratic African Americans that have been elected to Congress. They all band together and call themselves a different caucus, a Black Congressional. They would be the first people on the planet to start yelling racism and foul if all the white Congress congressmen and congresswomen got together and said, well, we're going to have a white congressional caucus. But yet and still, they all gathered, and they're the Black Congressional Caucus, the BCC or whatever it is. They gather together, and they remember when they all went over to Cuba, and they came back so excited. Oh, Castro's Cuba, man! It's a paradise over in Cuba. Meantime, they're ignoring the fact that, Elian Gonzalez's mother died trying to get here, as well as, I don't know how many thousands of Cubans have died trying to make that 90-mile trek across the sea to get to the United States. And now we find out that ever since Obama normalized and opened relations, now we've got more illegals and legals escaping Cuba than ever, heading to Mexico and the United States because they want to get out because their very survival depends on it, because Cuba is such a rat hole. But yet you got the Black Congressional Caucus running down there saying, oh, yeah, everything's so beautiful. It's paradise down here. And it's so good. It is such a paradise that when Fidel Castro got ill, and what was he had? He had stomach cancer or something? He didn't even use Cuban doctors. Oh, he went to Spain and had Spanish doctors flown in to treat him. Because the Cuban doctors were so incompetent because their training was so lax. I mean, but they run around saying, oh, yeah, look how beautiful Cuba and Fidel Castro is just so wonderful. One of the most evil men of the 20th century is Fidel Castro. I mean, just look at the history of that country, folks. Ain't no way you're going to tell me that's a beautiful country. Not at all. Let's see. Let's take another call here. 336, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got?
Good morning, Rod.
Good morning.
Hey, I just feel, I'm not a regular church going person, but I do believe in God, and I believe in having faith in God. But what a blessing it was this morning to hear Dr. Alveda King on the air, just to share the same airspace as her this morning, to me is a blessing. What a wonderful woman. What a wonderful woman.
She's a fantastic woman. And she's got a story, too. She told me this. She told the story on the air back when I think it was May or June that I first spoke to her. She told me her personal story and her journey back to Christ. And let me tell you, it was a struggle for her. People think that because she comes from the vaulted king family that everything is roses all the time, and it wasn't for her. It really, she's a normal human being, and she admits that, and she doesn't hide from it. But she definitely praises the Lord for making her see and saving her and all that kind of wonderful stuff. And she's a fantastic lady. She really is.
Well, I don't know about you, but whenever I hear a message like hers, it makes my heart smile. This is a person that just really likes to spread the good news. She likes to spread good news and and not what humans can do to make themselves look better, but what's waiting for us in the afterlife. She's all about that. She's all about faith and hope. And I guess part of what I took from that this morning, the message she gave was, okay, humans aren't perfect, and we're not like God. So we have to get the best person that we think can do the job in office, and that's our goal. It's not our goal to get somebody that's perfect and walks on water. We need to get somebody that's going to help our country, and we can do the rest. American people can do the rest, and I think that was a lot of the message myself that she was given, that we're put on earth to help each other. And
you bring up a good point about trying to find these people that are perfect, and this is why I've taken probably some of the best political advice I've ever gotten was from actually a college professor of mine, when he said the best that you can hope for, you're never going to find somebody that you agree with 100%. If you do, you better watch out. But the best you can hope for is them agreeing with you 80% of the time. If you find a candidate that you agree with or agrees with your beliefs and all your political stances 80% of the time, that's going to be your candidate, because it is going to be rare to nearly impossible to find somebody that you can agree with like that greater than 80% of the time. And that's what we have to look forward to, because when you start believing that somebody can walk on water or they're God on earth, that's how you get a Barack Obama.
That's exactly right, and I agree with your method with that. Everybody has a different percentage, of course, because they have a different level of trust. But I agree 100% with you on that. You have to find the most. Okay, it's like making a list. If you're deciding to buy a new car or a new house, you have pros and cons, and I think that's the deal with selecting a president. Write down your pros and write down your cons, and write down the strength that you think. Well, write down the things you think are most important to the nation in your mind, in your heart, and that's what you should go with. And that percentage I think you talk about is basically that. You have pros and cons, and from that percentage of good and not so good, that's where you make your choice, and I think you're dead on it with that.
And I think it's really, really about finding not people who can work together with other people. Because let's face it, our founders set up a system that was meant to be a bit difficult to operate within, because they understood that if you had gridlock, if you slowed the process down, then you would be able to get plenty of debate and discussion and plenty of ideas to come out with the best possible way or road to travel down. Because whenever anything gets shoved through or jammed down our throat really fast, we always come to, I can't believe there hasn't been a time, except when you're dealing with matters of national security, like going to war and stuff like that. When it comes to domestic issues and peacetime issues, whenever we've had something jammed down our throat or pushed through Congress so fast before anybody can realize it, it's always been a debacle.
I know you're not talking about Obamacare.
Well, that's one of the things.
I know you wouldn't go there this morning on Obamacare that no Republican voted for, that hardly anybody even read. What does that say about our people in Washington right now?
We have to pass the bill to find out what's in it. Who says that?
Nancy Pelosi.
Well, yeah, I realize. I'm just saying, who in their right mind would actually say that to their constituency? We don't have to. And you have Democrat after Democrat. Well, I didn't have time to read it. Well, how the hell can you vote on it?
And that's why the establishment part of the Republican Party is just dropping through the bottom right now. It's because they have started doing the same thing. You look at the budget. You look at this last budget they passed. My goodness, man, what are these folks thinking? They're just doing it because they are being paid off by these super PACs, these big folks that have the money to guide them as they go along. And that's just wrong, Rod. It's wrong, man. That's not the way government's supposed to work.
I'm going to, for any political advisor that is listening, you guys better understand, and this is partly why learning your history is so, so important. Because every time the ruling or political class thought they could do anything they wanted, the paupers and the electorate be damned, there has always been a revolution, sometimes bloody, sometimes peaceful, but there's always been a revolution where the political or ruling class has found themselves on the out, in jail or beheaded or what have you. And I'm telling you right now, these people do not realize that they're repeating history. Most recently, the most famous rebellion has been France. I mean, come on, pay attention to your history, folks. You guys are doing the same thing that you had all of these wonderful bourgeoisie in France doing the same thing under King Louis XVI. And poor King Louis XVI, because he was so inept at making decisions, he got caught up in this stuff and he lost his life because of it. because the political ruling class of his day decided, well, the rest of the people be damned. We're rich, we're wealthy, we can do whatever we want. Well, they outnumber you, by the way. They will always outnumber you. And
that's
you better,
right.
better be careful. And hold on till after the break, my friend. This is a real hard break here. Got to come up. We'll be right back, folks.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Good morning, my fellow Americans, and all of you wonderful ecclesiastites out there. Good to have you back here with me here on this Freedom Friday morning, February the 12th, the year of our Lord 2016, as I broadcast from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great grand estate of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The phone number, the call-in number, is still 603-835-3224. You know, one of the things that I got to tell you, I love cigars. Now, I don't smoke them a lot, but a lot of people say, well, why do you do this in the morning? You know, you're supposed to have breakfast, and breakfast is usually not something like what you would consider that you would have for dinner. Why is it okay that you can have breakfast for dinner, but you can't have dinner for breakfast? I can never understand that. And some people talk about, well, it's too early to drink alcohol, right? And of course, we've all come up with the clever answer. Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so it's okay to drink. So I agree with do whatever you want at any time. There's no special time. So I've come to the conclusion I need to live up to my own advice. So I just lit up a wonderful cigar at 10 o'clock in the morning. So those of you who don't like it, well, that's too bad. But I'm telling you anyway, because I happen to like cigars. Fuentes are some of my favorites, by the way. But in any case, one of the things that we find that is happening today in this this campaign is race relations are just going they're not bad, they're just going wonky. I mean, it's like nobody can really figure out what the hell is going on here. You've got from Daily Mail UK talking about black intellectuals are deserting Hillary Clinton, but you got the black Congressional Congress saying that Hillary Clinton is their friend, not Bernie, but black intellectuals are saying no, Bernie's our friend.
But then you get people like I had on the show yesterday at Diamond and Silk that are all for Trump. And there's a lot of blacks who are supporting Trump. It's not just those two. This is really
not the way that it is right now. I think the country has just really, really dramatically changed. I mean, if you have folks that are wanting now to vote for a socialist president, then we've got really bad problems. And this morning I want to reach out a hand to all African Americans in this country, and think about how you've been treated by the Democrats the past 8 years. I want you to think about, what, as far as I'm concerned, and I think millions of Trump supporters feel the same way.
I want to remind folks, since you brought that up, I want to remind folks, over the past 60, 65 years, since the 1950s, the times that black Americans have made the most progress socially and economically have not been under Democrats. They've been under Republican presidents. The government stats, obviously, because you liberals believe in government stats so much, government stats obviously do not lie. Under Richard M. Nixon, blacks coming out of the 60s, which was the civil rights era, blacks were starting to make more progress, even though the civil rights era under LBJ ushered and cattled and herded a bunch of blacks into these government projects. Nixon did say that was a mistake in doing that. But under Nixon, black Americans started to do pretty well under the new civil rights laws. Not under LBJ, under Nixon. Then Ronald Reagan came along in the 80s, and we had a massive economic growth period, of which African Americans equally prospered, and we saw one of the at that particular point in time, the fastest growth ever of the black middle class. More blacks were moving into the middle class than at any other time in history, and at faster than any other time in history. And then we got Bill Clinton, and blacks did not prosper equally as whites did. That so-called tech bubble, blacks were left behind in that one under Bill Clinton. And then you got George W. Bush, and George W. Bush saw one of the lowest record lows of black unemployment, any demographic blacks unemployment, than any other president in history. We're talking record low unemployments in the black community as a whole. And then you get Barack Hussein Obama, and now we have some of the record highs. We are near record highs of black unemployment. How strange is that? Black president leads the nation's history in black unemployment, and he's a Democrat.
And Rod, this is the thing. How can you be a free man when you're getting free stuff? You're beholden to someone else for that. I mean, I'm not comparing slavery to what's going on right now, but you have Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders bidding for the black vote, which is actually disgraceful to them.
and he's not about sexism. It's okay. Hey, this big deal. The guy's black. So what? He's the best candidate for the job. He's going to do the best job for me that I believe he's going to do the best job for me. So I'm going to hire him. I don't care what color his skin is. And we saw that on The Apprentice. How many times did he keep moving black candidates? Wasn't there an apprentice that was black that won? Yeah, there was. It's a black man. Wait, I thought Trump was a racist now. Really? Well, I don't see it. But I got to tell you, the racism is coming from the left. It always has. And it's
yes, it is.
And they're hypocritical about it. It is so insightful when you listen to them talk about race. Kanye West, for crying out loud. Now, I don't think the guy's a musical genius. I don't like his stuff at all. I mean, there's a couple of his rap songs that are kind of witty. They're kind of funny when you listen to them. Lyrics are kind of funny. But generally speaking, the guy's a total A-wipe, if you know what I mean. And here he is talking about in some of his songs about how mean whites are to blacks, how racist they are. And in one of his songs, he talks about a woman, a black woman being dissed by her black boyfriend because he dumps her for a white girl. And who does he end up marrying? A freaking Kardashian who's white. But then he turns around and he trashes Taylor Swift. I mean, are you kidding me? And he says George Bush goes on TV, says George Bush hates black people. He didn't marry a black woman. But people follow him. I just can't understand how people let these kinds of people get away with hypocrisy, whether they be an entertainer or a politician. How do you let them get away with hypocrisy? The hypocrisy is, and I think some of it is starting to crumble on the left, is that now blacks are starting to blame, because they're all complaining about the over-incarceration of the African American, especially the young African American male. They're blaming the over-incarceration. It's the prison complex or the prison industry, the private prison industry that's demanding that they lock up black people for profit. Well, they're starting to pay attention and realize who ushered in that era of over-incarceration. It was Bill and Hillary Clinton.
That's right. That's exactly right. And okay, at the time, it was popular. So they only do what's popular with the voting population at the time they're running. They don't do what's good for their future. They do what's popular at the time. If you listen to any, which is hard to do really, but if you listen to Hillary Clinton right now, she names, Bernie does the same thing. They list off their to-do list. In other words, okay, we want to crack down on the police. We want to bring in gay, lesbian, whoever. And to be honest with you, I don't have any problem with that. It's just the fact that they're only doing it for the votes. They're not doing it because it's really good for America. They're pandering for votes no matter what category, except if you will notice, I never hear white men mentioned in it.
Old white men are terrible. They're evil. They're so evil, in fact, that every single top campaign position in Hillary's campaign is filled by white men. But white men are evil. They're terrible.
Yeah, and she pays the ladies that work for her just like every other firm, I guess you would say. She pays lower than she talks about everybody else paying. Yeah, but at the same,
that's the hypocrisy. Hey, we got you got to have equal pay for equal work. So women and men should be paid the same if they do the same job. Okay, but you're not paying your own staff that. And you got Bernie Sanders. Well, hey, minimum wage should be $15, and he's got a bulk of his staff being paid $12 an hour. He's not even doing that. So, and I got a story here that it's out in San Francisco, where it's in the paper pile, talking about the minimum wage is wreaking havoc That $15 minimum wage is wreaking havoc out there. Now you have some coffee shops charging $15 for a cup of coffee. It's insane.
Yeah.
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 So there you go. Well, how far is that $15 an hour going to go if you got to buy if your coffee is going to cost you $15?
Rod, and I tell you, I think Trump put it best a while back when he said, or I guess the research has shown, he pays his female employees the highest around, and what he does, he pays them for what they are worth, for how productive they are. And that's what the country's all about. We don't pay you just to come in and have a pretty face. We pay you for what you're worth. If you need to be out for a pregnancy, then we should do that. But you should be expected to come back and work just like every other employee. And if you merit a raise, then you should get a raise. But if you don't, your gender shouldn't even come into play.
Pay for performance. I agree. Look, I've often worked on that type of a pay scale, and you know what? I've always made more money that way. Pay for performance is the way it goes.
That's the way it should be, and that's the way the country should be run as far as economically. We need to get people out there that are willing to work hard, and have goals set for themselves. You have to have a goal in life to achieve that financial stability that everybody wants. You have to have goals. You just can't. And I would love to. I'm get off the subject a little bit, I guess, but I would like to see Trump go into Baltimore and go into some of the inner cities and speak. And I think that's what it's going to take. I don't want pandering. I just want him to lay out the fact that it's going to take better jobs and more jobs to bring the African American and other religions too, and other races too. It's going to take everybody working together and getting the economy going. And I don't want to see a battle between Hispanics and blacks for pandering. I want to see everybody. I want to see blacks, whites, Hispanics, Chinese nationality but are American citizens. I want to see everybody have that shot to get out and work. And let's see who can do the best job in this country, and let's get back on our feet again.
If you notice, I don't care basically what group that the liberals talk about. They never talk about raising the standards and uplifting people. When you listen to them and listen to their plans, it's always about somebody else is doing better than them or their constituents, and they want to bring those people doing better down. We want to tax the rich. Why do you want to tax the rich? I'm not saying tax the poor. That would be dumb. That would be cruel. That would be evil. But why are you so against the rich that you want to tax them back down to the level of being middle class instead of trying to take the poor and middle class and trying to elevate them up to being rich? I never hear that out of liberals. I never hear that.
No. And let me give you, before I get off here, Rod, let me give you some food for thought. If I'm a millennial right now, and I'm going with this Bernie Sanders message and this Hillary message or whatever, I'm not going to worry about buying a house. I'm going to wait till my parents kick the bucket. I've got a free house. I've got what they have put in the stock market, and I've got their savings. Why should I get out and work? And that needs to stop right now.
That does need to stop, but they're in for a rude awakening once they have to start paying estate taxes.
Thank you.
They're going to find out they don't have much left for mom and dad's estate. They're sitting around waiting without building stuff for themselves, and they're thinking that they're going to get all this stuff for mom and dad. And by the time, farmers have figured this out a long time ago. Family farms, when the farmers, the senior farmers die off, the mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, and the kids who and these people work. And you got the kids who are now become adults, and they've worked in land since they were kids. And now all of a sudden it's an estate and has to pass on to the kids. And the kids end up having to sell the farm because the estate taxes are so huge they can't afford to keep the farm.
Right.
That's a fact.
That's
and
exactly right.
And those people worked their butts off their entire life, so they deserve to reap the rewards of that. But these kids today, you're exactly right, millennials, they're not working and building anything.
And they're expecting to be rewarded for that, and they're going to find out in the end that there's not going to be anything left because they're going to have to sell everything so they can give all the money to government. And Bernie Sanders is telling them that, but they're thinking only the rich are going to get hit. Notice how they never describe or tell you who's rich, because they want to keep it floating so they can hit you whenever they want.
Well, you know, Bernie's that coupon you get in the mail where if you go to a particular restaurant, you buy one meal, you get the other meal free. What Bernie's not telling you, though, is you bought that first meal, you got the second one free. But the next time you go in, you're going to be charged twice as much for the same meal. And that's what the millennials are not getting right now. You know, nothing is free. Nothing is free.
Yeah, look, I still believe that my saying is absolutely accurate. Free's too expensive. I can't afford free.
That's right. You're right.
Well,
that's
thank
right.
you very much for the call, my friend. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Rod. Enjoy that cigar, brother. I can smell it from here.
All right, thank you. Take care.
All right, bye.
You know, one of the things here, getting back to the story with the with African Americans, and this is from, you know, you got to go to offshore to get this stuff. Black intellectuals are deserting Hillary Clinton for Bernie, but Bernie is out there trying to pander to blacks. But Bernie's got a sad history with blacks. It's not that he's been out there campaigning against black rights or black whatever, but he hasn't been standing in the gap for them either. And he's trying to say, well, he's better for blacks than Hillary. Well, no, he's not. He's just as bad, if not worse. Because his lack of historical data means that he's been apathetic. And apathy is the worst thing of all. I mean, even Jesus Christ said it. You know, either be hot or cold for me. But those of you who are lukewarm, man, I can't stand you people. I'm going to vomit you out of my mouth, basically. I'm going to spit you out. I'm going to chew you up. Because you guys are you're apathetic, middle of the road. Get a grip. Take a stand for something. Believe in something. You can't be apathetic. That is the worst. Because look, apathy has allowed evil to prosper in this world. Because you want to be middle of the road, middle ground. You don't want people to be upset with you. You want to be neutral. Switzerland, hello. And that just allows evil to propagate over and over again and to become far bigger than it should have been. Basically, that is why Christ said, you know, hot or cold, lukewarm, apathetic, neutral. You're done. That's just the worst possible to be. Worst possible thing to be is that. But Ta-Nehisi, I don't know how you pronounce that, T-A-Nehisi Coates, the author of the new Jim Crow, said in an interview earlier this week that he was personally voting for Bernie Sanders. But telling everybody that he's voting for Bernie Sanders, he says, is not an endorsement. Well, you're telling everybody that you're voting for somebody, but you're not endorsing them? How does that work? Can somebody explain that? You know, I am trying really, really hard to understand this younger generation, the millennials, and the ones that are coming after. I am trying my damnedest to but I'm getting a splitting headache every single day from you kids. That makes no sense. It goes along with, well, don't label me. I don't like labels. And then they create the largest number of labels that you've ever seen just so they can't be pigeonholed and labeled. Let me give you an example. There's this new term called pansexual. Now, I found out what pansexual meant. It meant, you know, you don't determine somebody else's sex or sexuality for you to be sexually attracted to them.
Well, you know what they call that normally? Bisexuality.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, franzblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
603-835-3224 is the number to call if you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show on this fantastic, fabulous Freedom Friday. Taylor Swift's brother, Austin Swift. Yeah, that's his real. Sounds like a porn star's name, doesn't it? Austin Swift. I get this is just hilarious, folks. Taylor Smith's younger brother, Austin Swift, 23, puts his $950 Yeezy sneakers in the trash in support of his big sister Taylor Swift after Kanye West raps about having sex with her. Now, and Kanye says, I made that biddy famous. Now, first of all, I don't really care if they had sex. But, wait a minute. I thought Kanye West hated white people. Oh, no, that was Bush. Or hated black. Yeah, I thought he hated white people. But no, that was Bush that hates black people. Maybe it's Kanye that hates black people. I don't recall him having this type of issue with other black women. I don't know if he's ever been with a black woman. I don't particularly care. But the very fact that this privileged child who's riding on the coattails of his rather famous and successful, no matter in spite of her lack of talent, sister, has $950 sneakers that he can just throw away. Now, you're probably asking, well, why would he throw away his sneakers in support of his... Because the Yeezy sneaker line is Kanye West footwear. So then you have to ask, well, why the hell would Kanye West have footwear that costs nearly $1,000 for sneakers? I thought it was all about black people. And we know that black people are poor, right? So how the hell can they afford $950 sneakers? Because, frankly, they're not designed for African Americans. They're designed for rich white kids like Austin Swift to go out and waste their money, their parents' money, or their famous siblings' money. That's what they're designed for. Just so you know. Can you see all of this wonderful hypocrisy? I mean, it's just so, it's actually kind of delicious to see these people, this whole liberal, world view just crumble before their own very eyes. And I know we complain about the infighting of Republicans sometimes, but I got to tell you, the infighting that liberals have is far worse than what the Republicans have. And it's just kind of delicious. It's very telling about them, too. If you just pay attention and look and who the players are and what's actually going on, it's really kind of enlightening, if you will. So, yeah, who spends $950 on sneakers then just to throw them away? Unbelievable. I've never bought a suit. I've bought cars for less than $950. True story. And this kid has bought a pair of Yeezy sneakers for nearly $1,000 and then throws them away in pro. Who does he think he's hurting? You already paid Kanye $950 for the sneakers. He doesn't care if you throw them away. You know what's going to happen is Austin and or Taylor and Kanye at some point will make up. They'll kiss and, well, they won't kiss and make up like that because, I don't think Kim will allow it. But, well, maybe she will. I don't know. But Kanye and Taylor will at some point in time kiss and make up, and Austin will go out and buy another $950 pair of sneakers and take an Instagram picture of that and wear them proudly in support of his sister's decision to, forgive Kanye. Because she's the bigger woman. Well, I don't know who's the bigger woman. Is it Kanye or Taylor? In any case, dailymail.co.uk has got another story about Bernie and Hillary on race relations. Do you? I read that headline and I done about fell out my chair. Now, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh, that's 1930s black speak. You remember most of you people probably don't know about, Brer Rabbit and Brer Bear and all those guys. Yeah, by today's standard, that was a Walt Disney cartoon. By the way, full-length animated feature film. And by today's standard, they don't show that anymore. I'm not even sure if you can actually get a video of it. They don't show it because it is construed to be extremely racist by Walt Disney. Walt Disney, home of Mickey Mouse. The father of Mickey Mouse was a racist? A lot of people are saying that today, but the father of Mickey Mouse was also a big-ass liberal. Just saying. I don't. When did Walt die? I don't think I was alive when Walt Disney actually passed away. I don't think I was alive when Walt Disney was alive. But I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World, and it hasn't been a priority because they've done all kinds of weird liberal kinds of crap down there in Disney World, or what's down in Florida? Disney World, right? Yeah, California's Disneyland. And it's they've just done so many odd things and hypocritical things. It's just mind-boggling. But yeah, if you want to go to Disney World, go right ahead. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't. Enjoy yourself. It's your money. Spend it where you want. People still have that ability somewhat to be able to spend their money where they want to spend it. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Look, if you want to spend your money donating to I'm a black guy, and if you want to spend your money donating to a KKK organization, it's your money. You worked for it. Go right ahead. Right now, it's still somewhat of a free country. You earn the money, so you can spend it any way you want. I don't think we should be making laws that you can't spend your money where you want to spend it. And I don't think we should be taxing you to such a degree that you can't make the decision about where to spend your money. But that's what Bernie Sanders wants to do. He wants to tax people so much that they can't have a choice anymore of where they're spending their money or what they're supporting or what that money does for them. As a matter of fact, he goes so far as to say during the debate, which, sorry, I just could not watch. I've heard enough of it's hard to listen to the grumpy curmudgeon uncle from Vermont and the screeching grandmother. Hillary's voice is now to me like nails on a chalkboard is to some people. Would you believe that nails on a chalkboard really does not bother me? At first here it kind of gives, makes your hairs on the back of your neck go up and gives you a little chills. But then after that initial second or two, it's like, no big deal. You're not bothering me now with that. It's kind of a horrid sound, but Hillary Clinton's voice is worse than nails on a chalkboard. Really. I wish she would either use an interpreter or just put all of her speeches in Word. And not say a thing. Act like she's deaf and she can't speak, and have somebody else speak for her. Or that would be much better for me. But Bernie Sanders said that he'd absolutely improve race relations in America beyond where they are now under the nation's first black president. Well, that's not too hard since race relations under this nation's first black president, or if you're asking the Clintons, the nation's second black president, are so bad. They're the worst that they've been in generations. Seriously and literally. But he said that he would increase race relations by increasing taxes. Now, Bernie, you must think I'm stupid. How the hell is taxing the wealthy going to improve race relations? It's going to worsen race relations because you're going to take money from the haves and give it to the lazy, do-nothing have-nots. That's called wealth redistribution, and nobody in the middle, nobody but the poor actually like wealth distribution. Because everybody who's not in that poor class that you're calling the poor and down and out are not working for all that money. And you're stripping it and stealing it and taking it from those who work. And they work hard. And then you're going to foister this notion that, well, it's blacks or minorities, blacks and Latinos that are benefiting the most. And this is basically what he said. He said he's going to improve the race relations with blacks in America by increasing taxes on the nation's wealthy. That's what he said. He said we're looking at an economy in which the rich are getting richer and the poor get poorer. Now, this is under a Democratic president with Democratic policies where they're already taxing the yin-yang out of us. Under Jimmy Carter, we had some of the highest tax rates we've ever had. We still had poor people. Lots of them. In this particular case, the higher you tax, the more people you actually put in poverty, by the way. And he went on to say, and sadly, in America today, in our economy, a whole lot of these poor people are African American. Well, why does he got to point that out? A whole lot of poor people, even more so, are white people, because there are more whites in this country than there are blacks. That's just, actual numbers. What's the black African American population percentage in this country now? What is it? It's down to 12%. It's been sliding, going backwards. And it's been going backwards for two major reasons. One, it is immigration, but it isn't immigration of other whites. It's illegal immigration from Latin American countries. Because the Latinos, what are their population percent? It's like 18% now. They surpass blacks. And you have Arabic or Muslim, not Muslim because that's not a race. Arabic, Middle Eastern, and Persian coming into this country in droves. While at the same time, number two, the Clintons' crime bill from the mid-90s is causing a tremendous supposed crackdown in the inner city. But it's doing two things. It's killing young black men and or incarcerating them to such a point where black birth rates are down, and they're down for two reasons. One, there's less black pregnancy because there's fewer black men out there running around free, if you will. And two, because of the Democratic and liberal notion that abortion should be free and on demand. And they push that junk in poor neighborhoods, mostly populated by whom? Blacks. So Bernie's tax increase would go to help fund things like Planned Parenthood and other abortion clinics in poor neighborhoods. And they would call it health care. How is that going to increase race relations? Well, it's going to increase race relations because you're going to start eliminating a particular race that you don't want and replacing it with a race that you do. Well, I'm being serious as a heart attack right now. I know we try to be a little bit lighter on Fridays, but I'm being serious as a heart attack right now. Blacks have to understand that Democrats are trying to wipe us out. They have been on that mission since civil rights. And they are succeeding. They are succeeding. Do you see black African Christians being allowed to immigrate to the United States? No, they're being passed over for non-black African Muslims. I mean, Boko Haram just went on a killing spree. It's like nearly 100 people were killed by using 2 women as suicide bombers. And now how much you want to bet those suicide bombers that were female were kidnapped women? Did we forget about that? And do you want to tell us, Bernie, that you're going to improve race relations by increasing taxes so, one, you can fund all those wonderful social programs, including Planned Parenthood, which does everything in its power to reduce the population of minorities, especially blacks in this country? Well, you better be careful, because the way we're going in this country right now, because of your stupid policies, whites are going to become a minority in this country. And then what happens when Latinos and Muslims run everything? Now understand, that is not what they want. They fully and thoroughly believe that they will always be in power and always be in charge, and their kids and grandkids will always be in power and will always be in charge. But they're being so blinded and stupid for their hatred of this country, the hatred of the Constitution, the hatred of African Americans, yes, I said it, that they are being blinded by their own power ambitions, that they are going to ruin their own families' lives. Their posterity is in danger. I'm telling you, if you think that they're not going to suffer, they're going to be some of the first people that do suffer big time. And it won't matter about tax rates. Because look, when I talk about revolutions can happen quickly or they can happen slowly. But when there is a revolution, always in the end, those who were in power at the start of the revolution rarely ever come out of the revolution unscathed. Rarely. They definitely don't come out of that revolution still in power. Now I'm telling you right now, the revolution that has gone on over in Syria with King Assad, the only reason why that man is still standing is simply because of Russia coming in and backing him up. Now, either Russia and China are going to have to piss or get off the pot. They're going to either have to come in and devastate the entire rebel force as well as ISIS, or they're going to have to let this guy go. Because they're not going to be able to stave off the inevitable if they cannot make that stand. I'm just saying how it is. We've seen regime after regime in the Middle East with the Arab Spring falling. You can't stay in power. Revolution means that you have pushed people, your electorate, your base population to such a point where they can no longer trust or stand you. And they will do whatever it takes to remove you. You cannot remain in power. And this is exactly what's going to happen to the Democrats, especially the white liberals in this country. The minorities are going to be sick and tired of your lies, and your derogatory statements, and your hypocrisy, that they are going to revolt, and you will be left out in the cold if you're left alive. That's a warning to the left. It's a warning to the moderate Republicans as well. Because the same thing is going to happen to you. I just can't believe that you're going to... I cannot believe that any black person would vote for Bernie Sanders after he says that he's going to improve race relations simply by taxing the rich. What he's telling you is, I'm going to steal from those who've actually done the work, and I'm just going to give it to you because you can't do anything for yourself. And I'm going to be the big statist, the big government, the wonderful uncle that takes care of you. Well, if he takes care of you, then he gets to decide how you live, not you. Remember, in his own commercials, he said the people have to, these corporations, meaning people, will have to start living and following the rules of our president. Which means Constitution be damned. You got to start, if I'm president, you got to follow my rules. Screw the Constitution. It's my way or the highway. Or if you're a Clinton, it's my way or jail. Hell, even if you do follow their way, you won't be able to keep yourself out of jail because only they're slick enough to be able to do that. There are many people that have done all kinds of things that are exactly the same things that many in power, white and black, have done, but they've gone to jail. Martha Stewart? Oh, she committed perjury. Really? How many white politicos have committed perjury and have not gone to jail? Martha Stewart goes to jail over it. The black A-lister actor Wesley Snipes goes to jail for like 3 years because he doesn't pay his taxes. And how many people, black and white, who are in the halls of power on the left, who have not paid their taxes, who have not gone to jail, and still owe money on their taxes? Al Sharpton still owes about $4 million from last I heard. Tim Geithner, a well-known tax cheat, was the Secretary of the Treasury, for crying out loud. People are getting tired of this hypocrisy stuff. They're tired of there being two sets of rules. One for the ruling class and one for everybody else. Don't do as we do as we say, because we know what's best for you. So you know what's best for us, so you're going to lie and cheat and steal from us. And if we do what you do, we go to jail. You use government agencies like the EPA to come and strip people of their land rights and or their land. And when they go to take their land back, oh, no. Then you send the big bad FBI in armored vehicles to take it back from you once again. And if they happen to kill you in the process, oh well, no big deal. You defied the state. And that's a no-no. But I'm protecting my property. Oh, it's not your property. Everything belongs to the government. Right? Isn't that what they're telling you? Inevitably, that's what they're telling you. If you don't believe me, try not paying your taxes on any property that you own, that you have to pay taxes on. Government will say, well, thank you very much, but we'll take over from here. This is ours now. Try not paying a few parking tickets on your car and see if the city doesn't come and steal your car. Well, I mean, this guy, he owes 10 parking tickets. And how much is the total? Oh, it's around $500. So you're going to steal a $30,000 vehicle for $500 in parking tickets. Who owns that car? Obviously not the person who paid for it, but the city thinks that they own it. Folks, that kind of stuff happens all the time. And it's simply because it's big government thinks that they own everything. You own nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying? You own nothing, they own everything. And because they own everything, you have to bend over backwards and forwards and take it up both sides. Because if you don't, either they'll jail you, they'll kill you, they'll tax you, they'll steal your stuff. That's what liberals want government to be.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
number 3, right here on the Rod Eccles Show, the fastest 3 hours in Internet Talk Radio. The call-in number still is 603-835-3224. Welcome back, one and all you liberty-loving patriots all across the globe, as well as you fantastic ecclesiastites. February the 12th, year of our Lord 2016. It is a holiday weekend for most coming up. I do recognize that. But we will be here on Monday after the weekend to keep you abreast of all that goes on over this holiday weekend. I think it's what we're calling it President's Day. No, not President's birthday, but President's Day. Yes, that's what we do here in the United States. We forget about all the historical figures that have done so much for us, and we just sort of mold them and shape them and reclaim them and put them in places and we just basically erase their names. We basically erase their names so we can hide what they actually did. But what you're doing is actually trying to hide history, which is never in the best interest of a nation or mankind, for that matter. History is very important, and we need to remember our history. We need to learn it and know it and teach it properly, because out of history we learn. You learn from the past. You can't learn from the future because it hasn't happened yet. You can dream about the future, but you can't learn about it. But you learn from the past. Because what have other people done? What have other nations done? What have you done personally in your past? If you don't learn from your past and remember your past, you're going to do the exact same stupid things that you've done before. But mankind is replete with this type of stuff. You know, the old saying that those who do not know their history are doomed to repeat it. Well, unfortunately, that has happened throughout mankind since time immemorial. But you know, we have people around that try to help us remember all of this wonderful stuff. The good, the bad, the ugly. And I know that we have this thing called, this month called Black History Month. I hate that. I really do. Why? Because it makes it seem like black history is only worth discussing 1 month out of the year. Oh, no, we're not going to learn about that today. We'll put that in Black History Month. Why not include it and just call it human history? American history, human history. Why not just put it that way? And make sure you teach it, because it won't get taught right. Why won't it get you're going to teach it in 1 month. If you can teach it in 1 month out of 12, why can't you teach it 12 months out of 12, along with everything else? Makes no sense that you teach about it 1 month out of the year. Not to mention, it was done to placate the African American community. Do you realize? And most people don't. I'm surprised how many people do not realize this until you point it out. I mean, seriously. When we're talking about Black History Month, because they say that, well, we want to give blacks the opportunity to learn about their history. And we want the rest of the country to understand the black contribution to this country. It's really important, so the left tells us. So they only teach about it 1 month out of the year. And they also chose the shortest month of the year. A lot of
people have questions about this one. We actually have
and I am always shocked and surprised and amazed about how many people don't realize that until I point it out. I get responses like,
so
yeah,
started.
Right. February's only got 28 days. Yeah, why don't they pick one of the longest days? Like January. December. Well, December's taken up by what? All the wonderful holiday season. Okay, so it's going to be distracting. January, everybody's depressed because the holidays are over. Okay, so that's distracting. What about March? Nothing's happening in March. Occasionally you get Easter in March. St. Patrick's Day, but people don't need a real reason or excuse to drink. They can drink without St. Patrick's Day, so that can't be it. Well, it has to be during the school year, Rod. Well, what about May? May's got 31 days. Yeah, but then people are starting to get into the warm weather, and they get distracted. October? October's got 31 days, right in the beginning of towards the beginning of the school year. Why not then? Oh, well, that'll get in the way of Columbus Day and Halloween. Oh, really? So, in other words, you have all kinds of excuses not to have a whole month for 31 days at any other time in the year because it doesn't fit, because it's too distracting, it's in summer vacation, what have you. But February, it's got President's Day, but that's okay. February, all across this country, kids get a week off called winter holiday, winter break during this. And in fact, most of them will be off this coming week. They get a whole week off. So not only do you choose the shortest month of the year, 28 days, but you choose a month where kids will have a full week off from school in most places. So instead of 4 weeks, now we're only teaching 3 weeks. And when I point that out to people, they all like, I cannot believe that. It was done on purpose. What the hell is wrong with you? Just saying. Which is why I don't go for this Black History Month crap. Teach it all year long with the rest of American and world history. Well, do we have Latino History Month? No, I don't think we do. Do we have White History Month? No, we don't. Do we have Asian History Month? Nope. We don't have Asian History Month. Do we have Black History Month in Africa? No, they don't. Just saying. Speaking of keeping on the theme of hypocrisy a little bit here. Hypocrisy. Remember that deadly shooting between a cop and a 12-year-old in Cleveland, Ohio, back in 2014? Remember that? That's all we heard about for like 2 months. Another kid gets shot by a cop. It was a 12-year-old boy get shot by a cop. Cop killed him. Well, Cleveland is run by a bunch of liberals. Liberal mayor, by the way. Democratic mayor. What is his name? Frank something, I do believe. Let me pull up his name here. Frank Jackson was first elected to be mayor of Cleveland, Ohio in 2009 and was reelected in 2013. So 2014, he was the incumbent reelected mayor of Cleveland. Now, the interesting thing about Frank Jackson is Frank Jackson's daddy's black. Frank is half black, half white. He's like Obama. So you had a black man in office, and they have an white officer, that goes out to a playground because people were saying there's a kid out there with a gun pointing it at people. Turns out to be a pellet gun, which isn't really going to kill anybody. And the cop reacts, overreacts, underreacts, I don't know. Don't really care. It's not the point. Kills a 12-year-old. Shoots and kills a 12-year-old. Here's the point. He's doing his job. He's under the gun, as it were. He's under pressure. Kid points the pellet gun at him. Oftentimes, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to tell the difference between a toy gun and a real gun. And it isn't because that's how they're purchased, but it's how people make them look. Look, we've had bank robbers hold up banks with a toy gun. And they did it because if it was a toy gun, that means it wasn't armed robbery, which is why they changed the laws. And now if you try to rob a bank with a toy gun, it's still construed to be armed robbery. But before, if you robbed a bank with a toy gun, it wasn't legally considered armed robbery. Because there's no possible way for anybody could have gotten hurt, except for maybe the robber if he got shot by a security guard or a cop. But he couldn't hurt anybody with a toy gun. What was he going to do? Beat him over the head with a plastic pistol?
Yeah, no. But they changed the laws because of the fear factor involved. Fear factor. You understand that? They changed the laws so that it would include toy armaments because of the fear factor involved. Now, if they changed the laws for criminality, wouldn't it be, because people believe that the toy gun in those types of circumstances believe that it was a real gun, that's why they obeyed the criminal in the first place, the bank robber in the first place. Isn't it safe to say that if you have all those people in a bank being robbed, and they're all looking at this thing, and they've got time to view it, because they're looking down the barrel of this toy gun, they don't know it's a toy. They've got time to look at it. Yeah, sure, they're scared half to death, but they've got time to look at it, and they still believe it to be real. So now you take that and you transfer that over to a police officer who has less than a split second to decide whether or not this thing that looks real, if it's real or a toy. And he shoots the kid. And there's some outrage in certain parts of this country over the shooting. And that outrage is usually coming from the liberal side. Cops are terrible, man. Government's terrible. They allow this to happen. Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, you get the liberals out. It's the liberal electorate is out there saying it's terrible, terrible, terrible. And then you get the liberals in power saying, yeah, you're right. You know what? We need to go to places like Ferguson and take over their police department. We need to go to Baltimore and make sure that they don't attack black people anymore for anything, for any reason. And we need to go to the New York City and stop this stop and frisk and ID type of thing that has kept people safe. Yeah, we got to stop this police state. It's terrible. But all the while, those same liberals are increasing the police state by incarcerating more people. And in this particular case in Cleveland, Ohio, when they're saying there needs to be reforms and better training in the police department under this Democratic mayor, under this Democratic half-black mayor who, with a white cop that shoots a black 12-year-old and kills him, this Democratic mayor, this half-black Democratic mayor in Cleveland decides to sue the kid, Tamir Rice's family, over an unpaid ambulance bill. Do you understand that? Granted, it's a $500 bill. The family didn't pay it. So the city is saying, well, it's your son's fault that our cop had to shoot him. All the while, when they were going back into 2014, they were saying the cop shouldn't have done it. The cop should have been better trained. The cop should have known it was a toy gun. It was the cop's fault, cop's fault, cop's fault, cop's fault. Well, if it was the cop's fault, should not the city and the police department pay for that kid's medical bills, even though he died? Oh, no. Now that same Democratic regime is saying, well, maybe it was the cop's fault. Who cares? Your son, you got to pay for him. So in other words, with the Democratic administration of the city of Cleveland is saying, it doesn't matter if the city or the state's at fault, you still have to pay. Now, is that what Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are telling us? Actually, yes, it is. It doesn't matter if it's the government's fault. You still have to pay. Doesn't matter if you... Hey, look, they even tell... This is also tax season, right? Don't they tell you that even if you get your tax return prepared by the IRS and it's wrong, it's still your fault. So even if it's the government's fault, you still have to pay. You can have the government, the IRS themselves, fill out your tax return. And you submit that tax return. And then they decide, well, there's something about here that's not right, so we're going to red flag it. And they audit you. And they find out, and they rule in favor of the government and the IRS that you were wrong in part of your tax return. And you look at them and say, well, you guys filled it out. You guys did my tax return. And they'll look back at you and say, it doesn't matter. It's your fault.
because you accepted it. You did it. That's what they'll say. You did it. But you filled it out. This is what a logical person will say. But you people are supposed to be the utmost experts in taxation. If you can't figure it out, how am I supposed to figure it out? That's why I had you figured out, because I knew that you would do it right, and you did it wrong, and now you're telling me because you did it wrong, it's my fault. And the IRS says, yes, because you trusted us, and you should not have. It's your fault for trusting us. So now you have to pay. Folks, that is not far from the truth, because that's exactly what the law says. People have actually called in, and they've got it on tape. People have called the IRS, asked a specific question, got a direct answer directly from the IRS, from an IRS agent. They filled their taxes out exactly the way that IRS agent told them to fill it out, and then it comes back to bite them, and the IRS says, nope, you're wrong, disallowed, it's your fault, we're not responsible. You are. It's happened. So it's never the government's fault. According to liberals, government shouldn't have to pay. Unless, of course, a Republican did it, or a conservative. Then it's bad. It's bad. Government's bad. If a government official that's involved happens, the regime happens to be Republican or conservative, then that's bad. But when it's Democratic, no. Democrats, yeah, it's your fault. Your fault. By the way, there's another story here, PaloAltoOnline.com. 75. Now, this is what the story says. 75% of all tech people in Silicon Valley are foreign-born immigrants. 75%. How many people do we have unemployed in this country? 94 million? You don't think that out of that 75% you could have found, I don't know, another 25% at least that were qualified or could be trained quickly for 25% of those jobs? Well, I mean, at this particular point, I'd settle for it to be 50-50, but 75%? Now, this is from them. Palo Alto Online. Silicon Valley's year. Amazing, but perils. 2016 Silicon Valley Index finds phenomenal economic growth, but questions if it'll last because the study found that 2015 was a year of record-breaking growth and prosperity, but it cautioned that there are perils associated with this, including the very fact that a lot of the employees would show no loyalty and would move back to their home countries if pressed. And so basically the teaser headline was 75% of Silicon Valley tech employees are foreign-born. And that can be directly attributed to and indirectly attributed to the H-1B program. Abso-freaking-lutely. No question, no doubt about it. I don't. Maybe because when I go through this stuff, maybe I need this new breakthrough that they're talking about. Yes, folks, there's a new breakthrough. I'm not talking about the gravitational waves that were supposedly detected for the first time. They're saying that, I love that kind of space science type of stuff. They're saying, well, this helps prove even another point of Einstein's theory, gravitational waves. But this other stuff, when it comes to discussing liberals, I get angry. Remember the Incredible Hulk from the 70s? I used to watch it on
Was it Nick? I think Nickelodeon used to have, Nick at Night used to have reruns of the Hulk. What was his name? Not Dave, the actor's name that played David Banner. Because Lou Ferrigno was a bodybuilder in the day of Arnold Schwarzenegger's days. He played the Hulk. He was a very beloved actor. Bill Bixby, that was his name. Bill Bixby played David Banner. And I remember in one episode, Bill Bixby as David Banner, he says, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." Because, he obviously knew what he would become. He'd become the Hulk if, the Hulk is nothing but rage, anger, multiplied over and over again until you get this big, green, angry monster. If you watch, the Avengers, David Banner in that one has to get angry in order to become, purposely in order to become the Hulk. And the Hulk runs on rage and anger. But that could be a moot point now. Maybe this is something I could use when dealing with liberals. Because according to the mirror.co.uk, scientists have identified the organ's rage center, which could help in the treatment of people who struggle to keep a lid on their temper. An anger pill that could even calm down the Incredible Hulk may be on the horizon after scientists identified the rage center of the brain. I kid you not. Violent outbursts like those depicted by the movie superhero happen when neurons that control anxiety break down. There you go. So now we'll have another pill for anger. You gonna get angry? Well, there's a pill for that. All those wonderful kids and adults that can't manage their anger, they have anger management problems. Well, that movie, Anger Management, would be a moot point, right? Because you just give them a pill. Takes care of their anger and their rage. My only side effects might end up being like when you give kids Ritalin and stuff for ADHD. You pretty much have zombies. Guarantee that is what would happen. Is we'd have a bunch of zombies. And the courts might even order people. They might order people to take these drugs. Can you imagine? You have a judge is sitting up there and saying, "You have anger management issues, so we're going to force you to take this narcotic to curb your anger." Really, that's what they would do. Got anger? No problem. All you're going to do now is just take a pill. Why not?
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
We are back. 603-835-3224 is the number to call. Should you wish to join me here on the Rod Eccles Show, get down to bumper number 9. Love that bumper. Happy Friday to you as we head into the last segment before some of you get to start on your weekend festivities. I know a lot of people cut out of work early on Fridays. And that's fine if you can do it. But here's something that you should remember. I know a lot of people of you now, earlier this week I told you about many Americans retiring overseas. Some of them, record numbers, nearly 5,000 Americans renounced their American citizenship last year in 2015. But there are many more Americans that are retiring overseas for a number of reasons. One is tax sheltering. Two, cheaper to live in some place, certain places of the world than it is here. And if you're on a fixed income or a limited income,
living in a place like Ecuador, parts of Mexico, although I don't think anybody goes to Mexico, Caribbean, parts of the Caribbean, and some places in Europe. Or even Americans retire now to Southeast Asia, like Vietnam. And I don't think anybody's going to Cambodia, but Thailand is a destination. Because, you got American dollars, American value. It's cheaper to live in some of these foreign places, so that means that your retirement dollars go farther. So you might want to consider, if you're approaching retirement age and you want to retire, you might want to consider moving on over to some foreign country. But let me give you something else to wet your whistle, as it were, for moving to another country. So this would never fly in the United States of America. Not as a country that we currently know it. It would not fly. It would not be approved. Somebody would try to actually build it, and then some part of some local or state or federal government agency would come in and shut you down. I guarantee you it. And this is from Time.com, from their money section. A town is building a new fountain to attract tourists. That's right. Zalek. Z-A-L-E-C. Remember that. Google it or Bing it or Yahoo it or Ask.com it. Zalek. Z-A-L-E-C. Which is a small town in central Slovenia. Now, Slovenia might not sound like a great place to go, but hey, if you go to this place where they're building Zalek, where they're going to build this fountain for around $400,000 U.S., which is going to be half financed by the city, and the rest of the construction cost is going to be covered by private donations. You can partake of probably what would be known as the world's first ever beer fountain. Yes, actual, well, I don't think they're going to be filling it with Budweiser, but actual beer. Now, Zalek, Slovenia, in central Slovenia, is famed locally for the hop farms that surround it in what is known as the Valley of Green Gold, where a lot of hops go into beers from around the world, including some beers here in the USA, the craft beers, the microbreweries. Some of them use hops from this part of the world, and specifically from Slovenia. So in this Valley of the Green, they're going to build a beer fountain in the town of Zalek. Now, this is according to the BBC. The town is likely to be known for something else after they finish building it. Of course, it'll be known for its beer fountain. The project, which proponents say will create Europe's first public beer fountain, I dare say probably the world's first public beer fountain in mankind's history. I think if I would have learned about a beer fountain in history, I think I would have remembered it. Maybe I should Google that. Maybe there are other beer fountains around. I'm not talking about private. When you can do it, if you want to put it in a building or in your backyard or something, that's private. That doesn't count. We're talking publicly financed, publicly paid for, on public property, public land, a beer fountain. I don't think it's ever happened before. The project, which proponents say will create Europe's first public beer garden, gently gurgling local brews rather than water, has no set completion date. But once completed, however, visitors to the fountain will pay around $6.75 for U.S. for a 10.5 ounce served in a commemorative mug of one of a variety of locally produced beers. You can get you're evidently soon you're going to be able to get a locally produced Slovenia beer out of a public fountain. The cost of the fountain is projected to be about $400,000 U.S., will be half financed by the city.
The other half covered by private donations, according to the town mayor Jocko Koss. Jocko, J-A-K-O, Koss, K-O-S. Now, some locals have grumbled that the money could be better spent elsewhere in the community, but Mayor Koss insists the fountain will draw money-spending visitors from around the world. He says it's true the fountain won't be cheap, but it's a development project and a tourism project, meaning bringing in all those. Would you go to Zalik, Slovenia, to pay $6.75 for a beer out of a fountain? I've never had was it Slovak? Slovenia is Slovak, right? I don't know. I've never had Slovenian beer. At least I don't think so. Oh, is there a famous beer that comes from Slovenia? Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not even exactly sure exactly where in Europe Slovenia is. I got the general location. I can't pinpoint exactly right now at the top of my head. No, I didn't watch Carmen. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I should have. Do you know why they stopped showing where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I kid you not. This is the God's honest truth of what they said. They said because Carmen's been everywhere, there's no place left to go for the kids to learn. So instead of putting her in reruns or making news stories about the places that she's already been, they just said, well, there's nothing more to learn, so we're stopping. That is why. It's not because the ratings were bad, because the ratings were very good for Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. They just stopped it because, they said we've been everywhere. I just thought, well, that's a crock, because you haven't been everywhere, and you haven't, even if you have been everywhere, you haven't explored everything everywhere. But that was not their intent. I guess their intent was just to teach kids where everything was, specifically on a general scale. This country and their capital is here, right here. That's it. Nothing more to learn. Carmen's about traveling, but nothing more to learn here. You know where it is now. No big deal. That's it. All there is. So they self-canceled. You understand what that means, right? When you self-cancel, it means you take yourself out or off, or you cancel the network that is showing it and promoting it doesn't cancel you. It's the producers, those who are making it, decide to cancel. Well, we don't want to do it anymore. Everybody's learned everything they could possibly learn from Carmen Sandiego, so we're quitting. That is the real reason for Carmen Sandiego going down the drain, as it were. It was a PBS show, wasn't it? I don't remember it being anything else, but it was a PBS show. I do believe. But in any case, beer out of a fountain. The Pharma Bro, the Martin Shkreli, is that how you pronounce it, Shkreli? Is aiming to delay Kanye's album. He's offering Kanye West and his record company $10 million for the new album. I don't. What is this guy is? He just continues to give the left fodder for ultra rich people. Now, this is a guy that took I do believe was it AIDS, HIV medication, or was it cancer drug? Anyway, it was rather inexpensive, and he jacked it up like 15,000 times or something. It was a ridiculous amount of money. Now I do say that he had a right to charge what he wanted to charge for the drugs because his company developed the drugs. He owned the drug. He can charge what he wants for it. But at the same time, I would think you'd want something for, to be a fair price. But this guy is such a whatever. Yeah, a jerk.
if you want to call it that way. But anyway. Oh, by the way, back on a little bit of serious note, Bernie Sanders says that former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger is not his friend. Now, Henry Kissinger has said that Hillary Clinton was an effective and good Secretary of State. I don't believe that he really meant that. I think Henry Kissinger is losing it. He might have. He's very old. How old is Henry Kissinger? He's getting way up there. There is a look. You guys say that you can't find work out there, right? You know, especially you millennials. Here's something right up you millennials' alley. 3 years into his pursuit of a bachelor's degree in industrial design, Jordan Kilgannon, Kilganon, approached his mother with an impractical idea. Industrial design, going to school, trying to get a bachelor's degree in industrial design, spending lots and lots of money for spending at the college. He told her he intended to drop out of college and try to support himself by doing something very unusual for a living. Now, note, he's going to have to make a lot of money now because there isn't going to be much of a retirement plan for this kind of job because he's going to pound the heck out of his body for the next 10 years that he does this. Now, you see, Jordan Kilgannon is a basketball dunking king. And he went to his mother and said that he was going to support himself by dunking basketballs. Now, dunking has been an obsession for Kilgannon since before he was tall enough to even touch the rim. And this is all reported on Yahoo News. Now, Kilgannon would watch grainy YouTube videos of street ball players performing jaw-dropping dunks and then imitate them on an 8-foot rim in his driveway. You remember what was the one of the first NBA video games for PlayStation? Every once in a while, you'll hear me say "boom shakalaka." Well, that's where I get it from. It's from a video game when they do these. They did these absolutely wild dunks. And it was mid-'90s game, NBA version. And the announcer, after the dunk, the announcer would say, "Boom, shakalaka." Well, that's where I got it from. I didn't invent the word. I never claimed that I did. I heard it from a video game, and I've used it ever since because it means excitement and boom. But, some people say the word boom, or bam. Well, instead of me saying bam, I say boom, shakalaka. So this guy, ever since he was a little kid, he wanted to boom shakalaka on dunking. Now, this fixation on dunking in basketball increased when he finally dunked on a regulation rim for the first time at the age of 16. And for the next... Now, by the way, he's a white guy. So you can't say white man can't jump. Because he's got to be able to jump in order to dunk a basketball. Now, he first was able to dunk at the age of 16. Now, for the next 5 years, he spent up to 3 or 4 hours per day inventing creative new dunks or mastering ones that he had watched others do. He would often remaining at the gyms until his forearms were bruised and swollen and his fingertips were cracked and raw and probably his legs, especially his calves, were burning like you know what. Eventually, my legs would be so sore, he said, that I'd try to get out of bed and I'd just collapse. I'd have to hold on the walls to make it to the kitchen. Yeah, well, that happens. He said, I was like, you understand, I'm going to be the best in the world at this. Now, however, after watching her son expend so much energy on dunking, never triggered any alarm bells for Jeannie Suave, his mother, even as Kilgannon began receiving modest pay to appear in dunk videos or compete in dunk contests. The high school teacher viewed dunking as a creative outlet for her son, a side job that might someday bring a few $1,000s here and there as he finished his degree and launched a stable career. But back in 2013,
he informed his mother he intended to pursue dunking full-time as a professional dunker. Obviously, she pleaded with him not to do that. Just spend the next 6 or 7 months to finish your degree. But Kilgannon made the decision, made the choice. And he says that dunking is indeed very difficult, but he has a good fortune to live in an era in which basketball fans remain fascinated by the dunk. In fact, we remain so fascinated by the dunk that Kilgannon now indeed does make his living as a professional dunker to the tune of 6 figures annually. 6 figures annually dunking a basketball. No, yeah, he's got to practice. And me being a former basketball player, I understand how strenuous training can be for playing that sport. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. And there are ways that you can work your legs and stuff in joints in order to increase your vertical, which is your jumping height, how high you can jump. They call it your vertical. And you've got to be able to take care of, or you got to use science. And I know they don't say, it's people say, well, athletes aren't very bright. But you've got to understand the correlation between horizontal and vertical. Because simply doing all those fantastic jumps, you simply just cannot have a vertical jump. If you just want to be able to jump straight up, you can do that right when you're under the rim. But understand that you cannot fly like Michael Jordan simply with a vertical. You've also got to have a horizontal. Now, in order to have that horizontal, but again still have that vertical high enough to get you to jump, to be able to dunk, but in order to make things look pretty, you see some videos, old videos of Michael, he takes off at the top of the key. Well, that takes the horizontal. You've got to have leg strength to propel you forward or horizontally, while at the same time using different muscles at the same time that propel you vertically. That takes a lot of work to develop that type of coordination, knowledge, and physical strength. It does. Is it worth 6 figures a year? Well, if somebody wants to pay this kid that much for however long he's able to do it, more power to him. But you know what? He found out that I guess he didn't want to be that kind of an engineer, that at least not now. He can always go back and finish his degree. He's only got like a semester to go, right? So he can go back and finish that engineering degree later when he can no longer dunk, I guess. You got to be, if you think you can't find a job, be creative. Be creative. It's over $100,000 per year dunking a basketball. Let me repeat that. Over $100,000 per year dunking a basketball. By the way, in the United States, a U.S. teen out of Houston, Texas, has been charged with his best friend's murder. And you're thinking, well, so what? Nothing new. Well, he killed his best friend, for one. And two, he killed his best friend in a bizarre satanic ritual.
You'll have to do...
What is wrong with people and kids today? I mean, this is just absolutely insane. Now it's just insanity. It really is just insanity. Sorry, I did don't know what else to tell you. It really is just insanity. Teachers are in denial over climate change science. Again, from Yahoo News, U.S. News, from Newsweek, via Newsweek, I should say. Overwhelming percentage of science teachers confused about climate change. Now, this is Newsweek now. Notice the headline. Science teachers are confused about climate change. And here's part of the story. In 2015, cows watch birds fly past the Harris cattle ranch in California's Central Valley during the state's hottest, driest year on record. Meaning that the cows were confused by the birds. The cows were actually laying down, watching the birds. I guess cows don't watch birds fly. And because cows don't normally watch birds fly, it must be because of climate change that's causing the cows to lay down and watch the birds. That's what they make it sound like. I'm serious. However, fewer than half of U.S. adults, the lowest percentage among 20 nations polled in 2014, agree with the 95% of climate scientists who... Now, I've already told you about this 95%. That has been debunked numerous times by numerous people, even some people on the left, that 95% number that Newsweek is using once again is nothing but a bold-faced lie. And the worst part about it is that the reporter that's writing this piece, Lucy Nicholson, knows it's a lie. Because it has been proven why it's a lie. It's been debunked over and over again. Nevertheless, she says 95% of climate scientists, and they're not climate scientists, by the way. They're not. Archaeologists and physicists who agree with global climate change are not climate scientists. So these climate scientists who attribute recent global warming to human causes, the first nationwide survey of climate change education set out to see if there was hope for today's students. Hope for today's students who will grow up in a world shaped by climate change. Now, policy directors from the National Center for Science Education and researchers from the nonpartisan Penn State Survey, that's a bunch of BS too, Penn State Survey Research Center, who conducted the study, were not reassured. Instead, the answers shocked them. It's unlikely a student would miss out on climate change teaching altogether, a paper on the survey that will appear in February issue of Science shows. Only 3 to 4% of students receive no teaching on the subject, and that just cannot be. You got to change that. In all, America's 175,000 science teachers in terms of school size, students' social, economic, and political characteristics, they're shaky on climate change science at best. Nearly one-third of the teachers emphasize that recent global warming is likely due to natural causes. One-third say it's natural causes, not man. Which also means that the other two-thirds do not fully believe that it's man-caused. Science teachers, maybe there is hope for our wonderful students after all. Maybe there is hope. If there are teachers out there who are not teaching man-made climate change garbage, maybe there are other teachers that are also teaching stuff that isn't liberal-induced indoctrination garbage, too. Maybe. Maybe there is hope. Maybe. I know there is some hope in having a good weekend, because I'm sure you're going to enjoy your freedom and have a great weekend. We'll be back here on Monday. Same time, same bat channel, 9 a.m. sharp. Don't miss it. Until then, stay tuned for Rush and Hannity. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. And for the week, with my cigar, I'm out.